Let's start tonight by sitting and closing the eyes. And as you sit, let's take full deep breaths in and out of the body. As you breathe, we're going to take on a practice called samadhi, which is complete exhalations and inhalations, which are balanced with each other. Feel the breath move in and out of the body. Feel the breath and how it balances the sensations within the body. Maintain a conscious breath moving in and out of your body. And now soften the breathing. Allow the breath to gradually find its natural breathing rhythm. And now tune your awareness to the sensations within the body. Allowing the body to become very comfortable where it's sitting. And through the avenue of comfort, we find a very deep relaxation. If at any given point you feel discomfort, see if you can go to the center of that sensation and find the comfort with any discomfort. As you sit, feel the body whole and complete. At this moment, your meditation is about feeling the subtle sensations from the body. Over time, we want to place the body in the perfect position to feel the most subtle of sensation. Now feel the sensation of the breath moving in and out of the body. Pay close attention to the moment you feel the breath enter your body and the moment you feel the breath leave the body. Allow the body and the mind to match the subtlety that you see and feel from your breathing. Fix your inner gaze into the space of the mind just there in front of you. And observe the content of the mind from the perspective of being non-attached and non-judgmental towards that which you see. Tune yourself to the vibration of the space of the mind and allow your entire body to resonate to that vibration. Become very aware of how quiet the observer is in the midst of all of the activity. The observer maintains its peace and tranquility amidst all the activity within the body, breath, and mind. The body, breath, and mind align one to the next like sheaths or layers. As the alignment increases in its strength an ability to maintain, what begins to emerge is a quality of space. To really ground into this space, become aware of the quality of the space both inside and outside of the body. And surrender this gross level, tissue level of the body as much as you can to meet the vibration of this inner-outer space. allow yourself to increasingly become more quiet. Allow the parts of the mind that you have a relationship with to follow this quality of becoming quiet. As we become quiet, we can listen very closely to the sound of our meditation, to the vibration of our meditation, Use the body and the breath to maintain an undisturbed quality for your meditation. Observe the content of the mind and then just simply let it go. Returning your concentration back into the quality of space of the mind, into that single point just there in front of you. That point that as you gaze into it, it goes on for an eternity. And allow yourself to simply rest in peace. Without disturbing your meditation, begin to take deeper breaths. Purposeful, balanced inhalations and exhalations. And follow your breath deeper into your meditation. Keeping the eyes closed, bring your gaze a little bit more strongly into the space just there in front of you. Canceling out anything that would be considered to be a distraction. Now softening the inner gaze. And now very slowly, without rushing, allow the eyes to open. That was about a 50 or 55-minute meditation. And is it now possible for you to retain that calm and tranquility that you have developed through your meditation practice? Is it possible for you to recall and then practice again the technique that you've developed to soften your mind and the sounds, the images that it produces? And if yes, then I would suggest that you practice that now. Just simply looking around and see what it feels like to maintain that level of serenity. Really, no matter what is occurring inside your mind as an image, a thought, even an emotion, we can still maintain and retain a level of peace and serenity. This is the art of the practice of meditation and also yoga. And to have the opportunity to very slowly come out of your meditation practice is great. Because the longer we can stretch out that time spent within this particular experience, the more of a chance the rest of our evening or our day has an opportunity to really ground into your meditation practice. Does anyone have any comments or questions about anything but about meditation, their personal meditation? The mind is simple, the mind is serene. I think that this is the truth. The mind is actually quite simple and very, very serene. But circumstance and situation seems to create a level of complexity for the mind to wrestle with. So somehow the mind takes on that complexity, potentially as a tool to help understand it at its root. But somewhere along the way we begin to believe that the mind is actually that complexity. But really there's not much complicated about the mind at all. The mind is as complicated as it is to wiggle your finger back and forth. And we all do that so easily, right? It's just like, wiggle your finger, okay. But actually it's a very complex piece of instruction that happens, and a chain of events that occurs in order to allow that to happen, that very simple wiggling of the finger. But we don't pay much attention to the complexity of wiggling the finger. We pay close attention to how simple it is. So the mind is as much a part of us as the body. So then the mind, seen within its simplicity, should, in theory, act the same as the wiggling finger. Simple. To me, that's something to contemplate. What is creating the complexity? And is it really complicated? Even if it was complicated, is there an option within the menu, that maybe you didn't see, or I didn't see, that just said simple? And I push that button, and it goes on to simple mode. This is also a potential. Meaning that because somewhere along the way we believe that the mind is supposed to be complex and noisy, that we've just built it with that as our our primary base, that my mind is supposed to be noisy, out of control, and complicated. But if there was an opportunity and a chance to simplify the experience of the mind, would you take it? And let's just say you would, for the sake of this conversation. To me, as an experiment, I would take on a small mantra. And I would simply repeat to myself on the exhale, so I would inhale. And on the exhale, my mind is calm and relaxed. And see what happens. Your mind is probably pretty calm and relaxed right now, but let's try it. 3 times. Inhale. And go for it. So when you say those simple words, what happens? Does the body have a response? The breath is obviously involved. And what does the mind do? Does the mind attempt to reflect the request of becoming calm and relaxed? Or does it fight up against it and produce more noise for you? It doesn't really matter which one it is, whether it is attempting to reflect or attempting to rebel. What matters is that you notice what it's doing. And from your observation, then you can choose what to do next. Now, from a meditation perspective, one usual piece of advice is just to simply do nothing. Just observe that which is the activity of your mind and decide that you're not becoming that which you see. Which means you take on this position of the observer and you see that which is occurring and identify that there is a separation, a space between you and what you're observing. And in that very simple positioning of your awareness, over time, that which you're observing begins to dissolve. And usually this time is very short. It's minutes. But from the perspective of the meditator, what is the most valuable experience within that is to observe, is to notice when it dissipates and see what exists there. And if we can identify again and again what that is when it dissolves, then we can begin to recall that. Not just with our mind, but from the level of the tissue. So what you're showing me right now is a level of serenity, pristine peace and calm. And this serenity has a sensation. This serenity has a breathing rhythm. So to attempt to understand or work with the mind is sometimes challenging. But if we can use the breath and the body as tools, as friends to the activity of the mind to help stimulate the quality of space that we wish to achieve. So through the observation of this dissipation, we connect to all the levels of interaction that make up that moment of space. Just like the wiggling of the finger, we can trace it back through into the spine, central nervous system, and the brain. So to become the witness within the perspective of meditation is one of the most valuable things that we can do. We are simply showing up and witnessing. So many of us ask this question, well, why is this happening? Why me? This is a great question. And ultimately, no one has really come up to the answer yet. Nobody really knows why. But the wisdom traditions have attempted to develop techniques for us to accept that which we are experiencing, and to develop ways of achieving connection through the experiences that we're having. So this which is occurring could be full of pleasure or full of pain, but if seen with very clear lenses, that positive or negative is seen as being balanced or one and the same thing, and is just clicking us or leading us into the next experience which is occurring. Now that in itself sounds a bit complicated, but it's quite simple. When you start to observe life as being completely in your control, but at the same time has nothing to do with you at all. And it seems like that, right? You seem completely in control, but at the same time it seems ridiculously out of your control, and you ask the question, well, why is this happening to me? So to let go of this reality that we are not in control of it all, or let go of the reality of the potential of being in control of it all, and instead becoming completely tuned to the flow of what is naturally occurring for you. And what is naturally occurring is already occurring. It has already occurred. All the pleasant experiences and all the challenges already occurred today. And right now you're sitting in this room, very pleasant and relaxed or challenged. And it's happening. And then when you leave this room, the same thing is going to happen. Either something incredibly beautiful or something potentially challenging. And it keeps repeating itself again and again and again and again. But that portion that you have control of is really what is valued within the perception of yoga. Because we do not necessarily know what's happening in 15 minutes from now. We don't really know. But what we know is happening at this moment. And if we knew what was happening this moment 15 minutes earlier, maybe we would have approached it differently, but we didn't. So therefore, the only thing that we have control over is this moment that's happening right now. Which might be a concept that you've heard a million times, but it doesn't ever stop ringing truth that is elevating. So there's always something to go with this statement of this is the moment right here and now, and this is the only moment that we really know, and this is the only experience that we have some level of control over. But the control experience is in how you perceive the situation. So when my eyes are closed, as the moments go by, this is actually where I get an opportunity to make a choice. And then that opportunity is now gone, and now this is the opportunity. And then that one is gone, and now this is the opportunity. Which is incredible on so many levels, because if you decide to take that highest level of your vibration, the highest mental capacity you have, then all of a sudden, in these moments as they're arriving, you're actually being that. So you're being that, you're becoming that, you are that in the moment. Like, show me your highest self. Now, just for the fun of it, show me the most enlightened version of who you are. And you have to actually accept the fact that you've just done that. Because you did. This is it. This is your most enlightened being right now. You understand? So then, if you just maintain that, how does your perception of life change? Which means your attitudes, which means your language, which means then your opportunities, which then potentially means you are shifting the course of those moments, speeding up ahead of yourself and just changing the navigation slightly. But you'll never know for sure because you're not in the future. But what you will know is here and now. And this is it. And this is how you are. This is who you are. Now, 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 now. That was very beautiful, everyone. Thank you very much. Namaste.